Topic of discussion today morning, we are now switching to Uganda'S investment sector. The bigger questions are, what are Uganda'S investment opportunities and potentials in the next financial year? These are the conversations that we're going to be having this early morning. It's 8 minutes past 9 o'clock. And joining me this morning is a Ugandan journalist, politician, former member of parliament, and currently State Minister for Investment and Privatization, Honorable Evelyn Anite. Good morning.
Good morning. You forgot some titles.
Yeah, I think so. So I would wish you...
A wife took a jig and...
good morning and thank you for joining us today.
Good morning.
We're actually humbled to have you today because we want to discuss matters to do with Uganda'S investment sector and clearly more broadly than anywhere. Now, at this particular moment, I do believe I would give the Minister the chance to, first of all, send in some salutations to the viewers.
Good morning, fellow citizens. It's a pleasure to be speaking to you this great morning from Smart 24. My name is Anita, like we have introduced. I hope that we'll be giving you great insights on Uganda'S investment today.
Okay. Now, Honorable, let's start with the efforts that the government has done to encourage local investment in the last few years. So,
the government, under the leadership of His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has done commendable job in encouraging domestic investors, and first of all, making us to understand that investment is the way to go, and it is the way for us to be able to make money. I would say that we started by establishing the state-of-art industrial park in 1991.
Okay.
Our industrial park Namamve, which was established, by the way, at the time I was in primary one, and so I give kudos to the president and all my predecessors for setting up that.
Okay.
That is the biggest park in the whole of East Africa. We don't have any other country that has an industrial park that sits on 2,200 acres of land. But away from that, we had to come, when I came into office in 2016, we had to revolutionize the industrial sector a little bit more, because the president insisted that we must come up with better investment incentives for both domestic investors and foreign investors. And there he then gave a directive of us establishing 25 industrial parks, and not only now in Kampala, but to spread it out to the entire Uganda.
Okay.
And so as I speak, we're talking about 11 industrial parks which are functional.
Okay.
And private people also came in place, and they thought that they should start the different industrial parks.
All right. And before I actually ask in for the foreign investors, I would want to know also, is there room for young investors currently?
Yes, there is a lot of room for young investors. Maybe before I tell you about the foreign investors and the room for the young investors, I have to tell you the incentives for the domestic investors.
Okay.
Because I know when I speak on this TV, it's largely the domestic investors. They want to know how is government coming in to support them.
Yes.
So the first thing government supports them is with land.
Okay.
And we give you this land depending on your business plan, and it is free of charge.
Okay.
One thing the president ensured that we take out was the charge of an acre of land going at $80,000 US. And for us to incentivize our people, he says, our investors, we must take off that money.
That is for the local investors?
That is for all investors.
Okay.
But for the local investors, what is amazing for them is that now we've given you this free land, and we know that you have startup capital for you to start this business. We go a step further and give you an opportunity to be able to mortgage the land after you've invested 30% of your total investment that you'd have put in the business plan. So for instance, if you say that your investment is going to cost you 200 million, that you're going to start a milling plant to mill maize, and you only have 200 million.
Yes.
Okay, and we've given you the land and you've bought equipment to start putting up this
the industry or
the factory.
Okay.
But then you don't have the final money to be able to buy the plant itself.
Then government kicks in.
Then government kicks in by giving you support to take you to go to UDB.
Okay.
We have agricultural credit facilities that is managed by Central Bank through different banks. You can then go to Post Bank, you can go to Stanbic Bank or DFCU, and then you'll be able to access that money to be able to, and it's a very lower interest rate. As you know, it is an interest rate of 12%.
Yes.
Away from the 36% or 20% or 16% that you'd get from other credit facilities. So this is an incentive for the local investor to be able to be on the road.
Okay.
And we have special packages in this financial year coming up for women because we want to support women entrepreneurs and the young entrepreneurs. So we have special packages, the money from World Bank that we're going to put through the banks to support our women and all the investors in the country.
Okay, now let's switch to the foreign investors. Sometimes most of the local investors feel the foreign investors are given more incentives than they receive. Is that true?
No, it's not true. It's not true. It's just that the foreign investors are a lot more aggressive.
Okay.
You know, many Ugandans think that for you to be able to invest, you must be having billions of savings before you take that decision. And they think that we're looking at huge investment.
Yes.
No, we're looking at SMEs, small, medium, and large.
Okay.
Now, what makes the foreign investors to look big and getting more incentives? It's because largely they are in the extra large.
Okay.
So because they are in the extra large category, and many Ugandans are in the small and medium, so you can't recognize them, but they're already investing.
Okay.
Let me tell you, if you go downtown, all Chikubo, this Amagara, you look at
the arcades downtown,
and all this, that is investment.
Okay.
So investments have got different categories, and the ones that we are promoting as government is investment in ICT, investment in agro-processing or agribusiness.
Okay.
We're promoting 4 sectors: manufacturing. So it's just that we're making more emphasis on manufacturing and value addition, and that's why you think that that is the only investment. Investment in real estate and which is services.
Okay.
Hotels. Majority of the hotels in this country are owned by Ugandans, by the way. You should know. And so that is investment. And we have deliberate incentives for those in that investment. And so services, you can talk about tourism. It's just that people think that when we talk about investment, we only mean manufacturing. No, we mean 4 sectors of the economy that can take us to the middle income status and even upper middle income status and becoming a first world.
Now let's look at it in the perspective of Uganda's private sector currently. If you look at the growth of the private sector, what are some of those key factors that have led to its development at a stage where we are seeing a lot of investors from the local perspective coming up in huge numbers?
Do you want me to tell you the truth?
Yes.
Okay. The first and number one thing that has driven our economy and make the private sector to thrive in Uganda is peace and stability, which we all overlook. It is peace and stability. So there are like 4 cost pushers and decisions that an investor has to, how can I call them, condition precedent.
Yes.
For me to be able to take a decision to invest anywhere, there are certain CPs, condition precedents, for me as an investor and for any investor. One condition is that the place that you're putting your money has to be peaceful and secure. And so this is what Uganda offers. We are a very peaceful country. And so because of that, so many people, both local, foreigners, regional, international, and otherwise, they come to invest in Uganda because Uganda is just about the only peaceful country in the whole of East Africa. The most peaceful.
Okay.
And it has been very peaceful for a long time. Now that is number one. Number two, what am I looking at? Condition precedent.
Okay.
As an investor, I'm looking at market. Will I have demand for my products?
Once I invest in Uganda. Okay.
Once you invest in Uganda, you have the correct market. You're talking about a market of 43 million people. But this is not the only market you're looking at, population-wise, the internal market. Do they have the purchasing power? Yes. So if you look at Ugandans and you look at their trend of spending money, they like new things. They like to spend. Okay? So because of that, then you are very sure that whatever that you manufacture, you actually have demand for it.
Okay.
But this is not the only market Uganda has. Uganda, thanks to President Museveni, someone yesterday on Twitter told me, Anita, you talk too much about President Museveni as if you'd be buried with him. Yes, I have to talk about him because it is for him that he's made me the minister. So I have to talk about him, and besides, he's the president, and above all, my number one mentor.
Okay.
And so I have to say that he has helped Uganda to link Uganda with external markets. Past the regional markets, he's linked us to the market of 90 million people in DRC.
Right.
He's linked us, we have done negotiations with Kenya, Tanzania, for our products.
Yes.
I have seen my president personally negotiating for our sugar to be taken to the neighboring country, for our textile, nitrile, for our maize to be taken to the neighboring countries. We went to His Excellency the President to UK, and he was looking for market. We have market AGOA, so it's the East African market, the regional market. We're talking about 300 million people in the East Africa. So if you are an investor and you're looking at market, that is addressed. Okay. Because you will not walk the journey alone. The government will come in to support you. Particularly you, the local investor, don't get worried that, I'm now investing all my money. If you invest in real estate, clearly, it will not be possible for us to look for external market for you for the real estate.
Because real estate is definitely local. Yes.
But if it is value addition, you're doing value addition in our coffee, you're doing value addition in our cotton, you're doing value addition, you can be sure that we will support you for the external market and encourage Ugandans. We do by policy. We have it that buy Uganda, build Uganda, to encourage people to buy the products that are manufactured or done in the country. The third factor that will encourage and that is enabling environment for an investor is credit lines. So now government has deliberately decided to invest in making credit available
for investors.
So we have a development bank, of course, with all the challenges that the development bank has got. But they will improve over time. But the intention is right. That make money available, the turnover has to be in a short while, and the interest rate has to be very affordable, which is at 12 right now. And of course, we're looking at bringing even down that further down. But working with other banks, government is ensuring that we have credit lines available for our investors. And they're doing very, very well, giving them enough time to be able to pay back the money.
But Honorable, haven't you heard of some complaints regarding issues to do with the interest rate? Sometimes the investors do believe the interest rates are still high for them when it comes to the Uganda Development Bank.
I agree with the investors themselves.
Okay.
And I speak this as an investor myself. The interest rates, if they're high, then you are not going to make profit. You will clearly be working for the banks.
Yes. You have to pay back the loan that you've taken.
You have to pay back the banks. Whether you make profit or not, once they've given you the money, they will expect you to pay back.
Is there any way that the government is actually going to work upon this issue?
Yes, and thanks to the president, that he made me a shareholder on behalf of all the citizens on UDB. So this is what we are trying to talk and looking at the bank's ways of lending. First, we want them to reduce the time of lending. Instead of them taking 6 months or all that long period of time, turnaround period. We want them to shorten that to at least a month or 3, so that it is very easy for investors, because they want to take a decision and they want to invest and we want to see many investments. So that's one thing we're looking at. We're looking at the issues of the interest rates, of course working with the central bank to ensure that they drop this interest rate. If government gives you the money at 0 rate and you're getting grants, so there is no need for you to put the interest rate so high to the level of other commercial banks that they give. So that's what we're working on. And I believe that we're on a right path, a steady progress. We will be able to achieve that to bring down those interest rates. Our president has set a target of 8%. At least that is what we should give. I know that countries that have been able to thrive on investment, like China, they support their companies. And sometimes they even give their companies grant. And this is what our president has started by giving incentives to local investors and foreign investors. And so you shouldn't complain that why are they giving Anita and not
me
and not you? The reason why they would not have given you is because you've not asked.
Okay.
This is biblical.
Okay. You
knock the door.
It will be open. You ask and you'll be given.
You'll be given. So if you haven't asked, why do you complain?
Okay. And for all the dear viewers out there who are still catching us with the discussion here, we are looking at Uganda's potentials and opportunities in the next financial year. We're just trying to break down some of the efforts the government has been doing, and also how the private sector can pinch into the space of investment. Now, Honorable, before we go into a break, I would want to know, just recently we had the investment summit between Uganda and Turkey, and of which you are at the core front of this together with the Uganda Investment Authority. So most of the Ugandans are still more excited about the idea, but we would want to know, what are the opportunities ahead of us since the investment summit was concluded?
I will tell you, the lowest hanging fruit out of that investment summit was trade. Okay. The second lowest hanging fruit, of course, is investment. Seeing them to invest in the manufacturing sector. Now, for manufacturing, you will not be seeing action in the most immediate, because the investors themselves have to plan.
Yes.
So we did the groundbreaking for this industry park. But before I elaborate on the investment side, let me tell you the trade side.
Okay.
So from the trade side, I will tell you many more Turks have come to Uganda with the interest of wanting to buy coffee, with the interest of buying sugar. Yes. Before they left, they made a demand of, they needed 500,000 tons of sugar. And I can tell you what, I was excited. We have the sugar, we have all of it, we have everything to take. We're going to export. So I take this deliberate effort as Minister of Investment to coordinate the investors, and reached out to all these investors who are already investing in the sugar company. And guess what? They had a very good problem.
Okay. Why do you call it a good one?
A good problem is that they have sold out everything. And
that they got from here?
Yes, that they manufacture from here. And then they told me, Anita, we're not able to satisfy the Turkey market. They have to give us like 6 months. The reason is the president negotiated for us the Tanzanian market and the DRC market. We sold all that we have produced. So that puts pressure on them. So now they are seeing potential already. Yes. So that puts pressure on them that they have to buy the canes that the people of Busoga have been planting. So that's a very huge benefit for us. For the farmer. So it is because the market is there. So the demand clearly outstrips supply. And now what they have to do is increase supply. Because demand has outstripping supply. And I was very, very happy about this problem. And I said, you guys, so every day you've been saying, we don't have market, we don't have market. Here's the market. Then comes the second one, is that so many of the Turks, they know that I told you, we have the right purchasing power. We always like to buy something new, textile. So they've come in the country, and the first thing they're saying, now I have to bring more garment from Turkey. Ugandans have gone in enormous to buy garment from Turkey. And the Turks themselves, you see, they had one store, they've opened the second one. The LC Waikiki, which just started here in in Acacia Mall.
Okay, during COVID? Yes.
Now, post-COVID and with this Turkey Summit, they've opened the second at Arena Mall. And so it's just growing like this. And the next move is that, okay, why should we be importing this and spend money on freight? Why don't we then invest? We're having textile factories that are companies that are now coming from Turkey to come and invest in the industry park in Nakasongola. So a number of the investors from Turkey, they have applied, and so Uganda Investment Authority is giving them, starting to allocate this land. And by the way, the Nakasongola Industrial Park, if you're Ugandan and you're watching Smart 24 right now, you have an opportunity to invest, and it's only 2 hours from here.
Nakasongola.
In Nakasongola.
Okay.
So, just like same distance between Namande and
Kampala.
So it's a very good place for you to come and invest in, and all the incentives, the infrastructure should be done by government.
Okay.
When I mean infrastructure, and I say infrastructure, I mean the roads, water, electricity, everything should be done by government.
Okay. And after the break, we're going to go to, I've got some questions here on social media, and the minister will definitely be answering those for all the viewers out there and those who are streaming on YouTube currently. Then after, she will comment something to do with the investment summit, which was supposed to happen in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And then we'll look at the key areas of investment in Uganda in the next financial year. Stick around. Good morning.